IPDD, Srinivas.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Jackson Schwab, and thank you so much for invitation, Kampong Ubi Toastmasters Club. Disclaimer number one, I do not have slides. I'm going to share and I'm going to ask. It's going to be conversation because I felt if I share slides, half of you will not be engaged. Disclaimer, if I share for this particular thing. Second thing, if you have any questions, please do put in the chat box and we will answer it later. When I say we, because if there are some questions which I don't know the answers, I will say Kim Song over to you. Simple as that. Right. So what I'm going to share, I'm not a world champion yet. I desire to be one, but I'm sharing what I've observed not only in this particular contest champion, but also over the last few years, since I'm a Toastmaster for 7 years, observing all these contests. And there are certain things which each of them have in common, or each of them brought it up in their own unique style. And that's what I'm going to share today. First question, has everybody watched this video of world champion Cyril?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, yes. If you have not, we're going to watch it now together, but we are not going to watch it the entire video. And then we're going to watch in shots. So it's going to be watching, pause, and discussion. All right, so let's go for it. And as I share my screen, and I think Jackson is going to allow me to share my screen in a minute, and then we can start with it.
There you go.
Okay, thank you so much. First, I'm sharing from a perspective of contest judging, from a judging perspective. And this is the list. So if you're ever judging, remember, this is the list people you should follow. And if you're a contestant, you should prepare according to this list because they are scored according to this particular ballot. Okay. Now in this, each of these, you have different categories, and we're going to see that how his speech falls, the world champion speech falls in each of these categories. Okay. And now let's go to the video as well. I believe now you're able to see my screen. Yes. Okay. Let's start that.
Cyril Junior Dim. Ndini. Ndini. Cyril Junior Dim.
Thank you, Contest Chair.
You're welcome.
I love that the contest chair sounds more Zimbabwean than I do. In Zimbabwe, we speak Shona. And in this beautiful language, we have a very important word that I'd like to share with you today. In Shona, we say Ndini. N-D-I-N-I. Ndini. Try it. Beautiful.
So what went great today in this particular part, not today, in this particular part of the video? If you notice that he looked at the contest chair and he stared for a couple of seconds as if he's frozen. Okay. And then he mentioned, I love. Pause, pause, pause. It creates the minds of people, what happened? And then he goes complimenting the contest chair for sounding more Zimbabwean than I do, or he does. Okay, why do you want to do that? And I thought that was very brilliant for him for doing that, because his entire speech is, this is me. And it starts with something where she is being better Zimbabwe than him, because his speech, entire speech connects with how he has not accepted himself. And that becomes a very relevant opening. So if you are in a contest part of it, what you're observing here is that this is the element where you're going to say speech development, where you're going to put that, did he really start strong? Yes. It's not about how they start, but if the thing what they started with, is it very relevant? We also call it transition from contest chair to you and getting audience engagement. Now, this is something most world champions do, that they know the first 5 to 10 seconds, usually 7 seconds, they get audience towards him. And his one statement got audience engaged to them, and for a relevant reason. Now, if you're wondering what happened before that, even before he started his speech, he walked in wearing those clothes. Now, I had this thing that why he should wear that. And the first thing which comes in the minds of people is that he looks like Aaron Beverly, tall, slim, Indian looking, kind of a kurta, kind of a clothes. And he stays a bit of serious look. That does come in the minds of people. And Aaron Beverly, for his previous contest, when he didn't become world champion, he also got contest chair involved by saying that when it has a very long speech, over 60 over words speech. And he got the thing, and that's how he started a speech. And that's very strong thing to do. Every world champion does is that, how do you start your speech? And if the opening is relevant to your particular speech or particular content or not. In this one, yes, it was very much relevant. Okay, and then he introduces the word. He introduces the word from his language. His clothing, cultural. I'm not sure that's something they wear in Africa or something in Zimbabwe or not. His part of his speech is connected the word, and he introduces the language and the word, and he explains it. It tells two things. He's very clear what he's going to speak. So he already introduced the whole thing in less than a minute, the direction of his speech. And he got what? He already got interest of the audience. Based on the laughters, he got it in first minute or 30 seconds. He's got the reception from the audience. So it's already effective part. He's there halfway in less than 30 seconds. Okay. Now, if you look at it, there are a few things which are already there. Is the ability to have his voice and volume, which is usually throughout the entire thing, we will see anyway. He has amazing pace and pause, starting with the first two letters, first two words, I love. And after that, he's got very effective pauses. So let's look into that part as well as we continue watching it. He has introduced the word now, okay?
It means, this is me. In my language, we have one word for this very important phrase. This is me. Ndini. This word is special for me now, but growing up, I wasn't always comfortable with who I was. You see, even though I grew up in Zimbabwe, my middle name was a long, winding, complicated Nigerian name.
Now here we look at his physical gestures. When you are talking anything on the stage and your appearance and you're talking something which you're not comfortable, you always take a step back. If you want to make a point, you take a step forward. And if you look at him, how well he did it, as he was explaining that he was uneasy with his names. When he walks towards, I wasn't
always comfortable with who I was.
Not comfortable.
You see, even though I grew up in Zimbabwe, my middle name was a long, winding, complicated Nigerian name.
He says three things: long, winding, complicated. And each of the time he takes 2 steps back. Okay, 2 steps back to feel that how he's not comfortable. That is one thing you observe, that how the body language or the stage usage is connected with what he's trying to say and what he's trying to appear that. Okay, so yes, speaking area, stage area, he does well. Why? He introduces the topic on the right side of the stage and he moves towards the left to get how he feels about the topic. Okay, and then you see later why he goes to the right.
Because my father, whom I never knew, was Nigerian. Now, yes, I may know a Nigerian prince or two, but back then, I didn't want a Nigerian name. I wanted a cool name.
And again, he takes a step back when he shares his discomfort, that he wants a cool name, not a Nigerian name. So that is very good stage presence.
Like Martin Luther King Jr. or contest chair.
And this is the time, the third time he gets laughter. Okay, the third time he gets, nobody would have ever thought he's comparing his name with contest chair. Never happens. Martin Luther King, yes, kind of makes sense, right? Kind of makes sense. But with contest chair, totally. And that's very strong humor. I would say that something you don't anticipate, something you don't expect, and then it comes out of. And do you know why he said contest chair? Because in the beginning, he's already started with contest chair. So it's much more relevant how it's connecting back and bringing back the contest chair in his speech. So when he brings it, he's now going to transition to the next part of the speech. And wait till audience laughs.
The other kids would make fun of me. They said my name was useful as a password.
Okay, humor number one with pause. My name was useful as a password.
They called my middle name memorably forgettable. They said my middle name was a curse from black magic.
And every time he takes one or two steps back, there is a purpose reason. That's what we call purposeful movement or purposeful gestures on the stage. You don't just stroll, you move front and back and you're purposefully there. And then, yes, I will come back to that question that he paused it. What do I think about it? Malcolm, I'll come back to it towards the end part of it. Thank you so much, Malcolm.
I hated my name. Have you ever hated something about yourself?
If you notice that he started about 45 seconds, and in less than 2 minutes, he introduced, he connected with the audience, he got them about 5 or 6 laughters by that. In less than 2 minutes, he tells where he's coming from. His clothing is all connected to the entire speech. And within 2 minutes, he starts going to the audience, engaging them in a very similar way. Other world champions have done the same way. That telling them, now I invite you to be part of my story. And that is part of speech structure or speech develops, that how it develops from somebody, you introduce a topic, you introduce your message, then you get into it, then you get audience into it. That's the way called how the speech has been structured and developed. Okay, when you get audience
I would
involved,
argue with Mom. I would be so mad at her. You gave me this name. You did this to me. And now everybody makes fun of me because I'm different. And my mom would look at me and say, but son, that name is who you are. It's special.
another big element he does is very smooth movement on stage. Whenever he wants to be another person, he doesn't look left or right to address to this person. He takes 2 or 3 steps when he makes the statement. Okay, and he makes it so smooth that he's casually walking, and then he comes. Now, again, something which many people do, that when they become mom, dad, uncle, auntie, sister, they try to change their voice. You don't have to. You just change the tone. You just change, you speed up, you slow down. It's enough. You don't have to mimic unless you are a mimic artist. You don't have to do the women voice or the old grandfather's voice. You don't have to do that. That's too much. This is authentic. Authentic way, right? And that's what he does in this thing. And that shows how well he's using his volume and his voice.
You know, your middle name means that what God has done, no man can change. And I said, Mom, man has changed many things. Okay, look at Chihuahuas. That used to be a wolf.
And this is for, if you have not, Chihuahuas are the breed of wolves. That's fact. Okay, the moment he says Chihuahua, everybody laughs. They don't have no idea what's going to be second sentence or what is this connected with. Nobody knows. When he said Chihuahua, I'm like, why? But he comes back very sad because they used to be wolves. So yes, it's a fact. You bring it up in your story to give a connect with that. The things have changed. Man has changed things, the things have changed. And he's making a relevance here.
I'm pretty sure I can change my name. And I did. As soon as I turned 18, I had my middle name removed from all my documents. It became my best kept secret. And I have not said that name once ever since.
And that is another important thing he did, and which we call it, one moment. If you notice that if he wants to be speech appropriate, and you know that in the end of the speech, the moment he said this sentence, I know that towards the closing, he's going to say his name. It's expected, because if he doesn't say, it doesn't complete the speech. It doesn't make the message stronger. It doesn't. So the moment he says that, he built it up that it is special. He removed it. And since then, he has never said it, which means he's at the stage where I have never, ever said my name again, which means that if he says today, it's extra special. It's extra unique. And that's where he comes with the part where he connects not only with these original ideas and logic and the thought, he scores the speech value, and he started scoring at this part. This part, he has done it. Great. This part, he's moving towards it. Ideas, logic, original thought is totally personal story. Totally personal story. And that's what he does amazing here.
Before I knew it, it was 2018 and I'd landed in college, not in Zimbabwe, not even in Africa, but in the heart of Eastern Europe. It was clear who grew up in the snow and who grew up in the sand.
Gestures. If you look at this gesture, this is exactly what Dhananjaya did it. Stage. Palms facing forward, comparison, one left, one right. All right. And usually yourself is always the right hand, usually. Right. Others are on the left, but that's them, that's me on the right. That's usually there. And you look at the audience and you connect there with this particular posture, and that is very well done postures. All right. Hands open, smiling, and there. Now, he could say that I ended up in this particular city, but he said, I didn't go to this one. I didn't go to this one, and I went to this one. What he's trying to say that I went to a place where I don't belong. All right. I went to a place where I don't belong, or I went to a place where I'm different, because he does feel different since beginning. And the whole thing is, since beginning was what? I feel different, but not special. I feel different, and I'm different. And I don't want to be different. I want to be common. I want to be ordinary. Contest share, you said it better. I feel different. You are better than me. I feel different. And he's connecting the whole point by saying different stages. He could have just said, hey, I went to France, or I went to Germany, or I went to one of those countries. No, he said, I didn't go here. I didn't go here. I went here. And that is a purpose there, that not this, but this. Okay.
I had never been this different before. The fly in the milk. It felt like I had taken one step forward and 10 steps backwards. But then I met Nick, another fly in the milk, but from Congo. He's got the African boy swag, you know, low, deep voice.
Part of
speaks very.
Another part of speech development, which is very much, I feel, is needed, and a lot of good people, good champions do that. When they introduce a character, they introduce that you can imagine the person. You can imagine Nick now, the style, the way of walking, his voice slows down, says from Congo. And you don't just tell that I have a friend, or my friend is from this place. No, you introduce the character in a better sentence that people can visualize the character even if they are not watching you. And if you can do that, that is a very well done, or very well developed or structured part of the speech. When you introduce a character before using that character in your message. All right. Now he has to say he's from Congo. Why? Remember, his father is from, I think, Nigeria. Yes. And he's from Congo. So like comparison here. Both African background descendant, but now we have two different people. So which only shows that this Nick is going to be a game changer, and something which is happens that in every speech, you can never be the hero. This is a time, halfway of the speech, you introduce the person who changes your perspective. You introduce somebody else who helps you to see things differently. Halfway of the speech, not to after somewhere about third, fourth minute, you introduce a character who will change you and the audience and the whole perspective. And that's how he did it.
Very slowly. He's like Mufasa, but in slow motion. We're in the library one day and Nick drops his ID. And like a good friend, I pick it up and proceed to read it out loud, including his full name.
And now he mentions purposely full name because he was not happy with his full name. So now you see how he connects back to that now he changes side because I don't feel great about having a full name. So let me make fun of somebody else who has a full name. You know, so he's kind of at this point, he's showing so he has done a lot of humor, which is self-deprecating, including the opening statement of contest chair that she speaks better than me. Few times he did self-deprecating humor, fly in the milk, memorably forgettable. Best name is for his name can be used for password. Self-deprecating humor in a very gentle way, right? Who's from snow, who's from sand, who was raised up in snow and sand. Self-deprecating, but in a soft way, it doesn't even, that you don't get offended, but you do still understand the whole thing.
Nicholas Rolin Suini Bitumi. I say, dude. Let's say your name 3 times and see what happens.
Do you remember in the beginning when his name and people said his name is a curse? Right? And now he connects back to it. You call back. You connect back how he felt it. And that's what people would have told him. Your name it's like a curse. It sounds like a curse. It's a curse. That's why he felt bad about it. And he exactly does the same thing what he went through. And he makes it very clear. He makes fun of it the way he was made fun.
But I knew exactly how those words must have felt.
And now he goes back to the audience to relate. The same way he connected, have you felt different? And then he's going back to the audience. And now he's connecting back with his message. And this is where he makes his message stronger.
But Nick was ready. I have never met anybody with my name. It was a gift from my grandfather, and I like it. And we laughed, and we got kicked out of the library. But in my heart, I was 18 again, seeing in Nick what I didn't have for myself: acceptance. And for the first time, I started looking around and I realized we're all different. Even Nick was different. But he wasn't just different, he was special.
And that's where he makes his message very clear. He felt different, he didn't like it, he ignored it, he changed his name, he met somebody who was different, he made fun of him, and he knows what it means, he knows audience, what it means. He asked question audience twice, then he comes back to say exactly what he felt. Then he introduces the message, adding on. If you look at Dhananjaya, I see something in you, right? So he adds on to it. Now you extend your message that, yes, I'm different, but now he introduces the part that you can be different and you can be special. And that's what he does now, making a very strong point of message.
And for the first time in a long time, I wanted to accept myself too. I looked myself in the mirror and said, Ndini, this is me. I know that many of you out there at some point in your life have felt uncomfortable being who you are. Maybe.
And that's where he goes back and connects back to the audience for the third time, how they should feel about it. And this is what we call it engagement with not only just reception. So now, by now, he has connected, his appropriateness is done. This structure and organization is very good. His support material is there of him, his story, his experience, and how he felt about it, his 2 characters. in this particular story. So he is scoring very well in these three criteria, and even the idea, logic. So he's literally scored everything. Body language, good. Speaking area, yes, he used it. And you know how he has snatched back. He snatched back the named ID from his friend snatched back the ID from him, when he was reading in the library. And it was good. And he tells, I stand in the front of mirror. It talks about reflection. Why? Because his message is all about seeing who you are, and this is how you are. And that's how his mirror reflects. Now, I'm not sure exactly did he stand in front of mirror or not, but it makes very perfect relevance here that you see yourself and you start accepting yourself. Because his whole message is about accept who you are, because this is you. So using a mirror as an example is amazing.
Maybe it was your name. Maybe it was the family you came from. Maybe it was the school you went to. Maybe you were tall. Maybe you were short. Maybe you have wrinkles, freckles. Maybe you have scars. I know that some of you out there know what it is to be different.
And he gives as many examples as possible to get to majority of the audience, if not all of them. Right? He's already talked about the culture part. He's already touched on the skin part. He's already talked about the name part, the background part. Right? He's talked about how he used to be disturbed or bullied when he was young. So he's connected most of it. But in this particular sentence, he reaches to the maximum part of the audience to make them relatable to his speech.
And even if you don't feel it, I'm sure you know somebody who does. You are beautifully you. The only you. And no man can change that. So let me invite you to make this very important word a part of your language. Ndini. This is me. For my friends here in Nashville and the thousands watching from home, say it with me. This is me.
And what I loved here is that he didn't forget people are watching him online. He didn't forget. And he invites everyone. So once your message is clear, now you want to invite your audience to say after you. Because this is the time he again used the word ndini. And he does it. Why? Now he invites the audience. First time he just asks them and they say after him. But now he invites them because now they have understood the message from a very good perspective there.
Ndini.
And by now, you know, he has won.
I haven't had the courage to officially reclaim my name. But here, today, I think we can make a step in the right direction.
And once he got audience, he doesn't say, I will make a step in the right direction. He says, we can make a step in the right direction. That's called inclusive speech, right? Because now you got audience on your side, and let's end it together. I started alone. I didn't feel great about it. You know, I felt different. Then I became special. When I'm special, I bring you in my life. We are in same boat. We are together in this. He felt the inclusive part of it. And when we're inclusive, he gets confirmation by getting them to repeat. And now when it comes to the stronger closing, he made the mindset and said, okay, let's do it together. And that's why I said, we can take a step in this direction. His name, not my name, but we can make a step in the right direction, says a direction from being different to being special and accepting who you are. That's what his message was.
I was born Cyril Jr. Uche Chukwumere Dim. And this is me. Ndini.
And that makes a closing with the same time here. Okay, now I've got some questions to answer. So I hope I could do justice for your presence here. Let me start with the first one by Malcolm. Malcolm says, I like he paused during his greeting, giving him a chance to calm his nerve, created. Why do you think he paused for long for that moment? Malcolm, if you're talking about the pause, that contest before he said, I love, most likely at that moment, contest chair is not looking at him, most likely. And he was waiting for her to have an eye contact so he can say that I love. then look at the audience and carry on. That's how the contest chair did it. Because if he didn't do that, it will be incomplete. It will not be incorrect, it will be incomplete to not have eye contact and contest chair is not looking at him and then say it. Then you don't lose, then you kind of, the transition is not effective between you to contest chair to the audience. And I felt that could be one reason he had this, we call it awkward pause, but it was worth it. Okay, Malcolm says powerful use. Yes, correct, Malcolm. How many contest judges are professionals and meticulous enough? Richard, I've got no idea with that part. I hope they are. That's what I would say. Okay, Malcolm has another good question. I likely started using safe with humor. I haven't seen that in Arab evening contest yet. Please share effectively how to use the humor at the beginning of contest speech. All right, this is where I would share what you should do. It is very crucial. It is super duper crucial to get your audience engagement and you get them time. So if your audience is laughing, okay, it is the perfect way for loosening up for you and them, and you got them on your side. Now, however you choose to engage your audience, it doesn't matter. It could be to getting them laugh. That's one way. To cheer, to like, what? What happened? Surprise them, element, or blow their mind away. You know, things like there are some great speakers have said things which people look back and said, oh my goodness, I pity you. They have started with things like this, and people like, ouch. That's fine. And Darren LaCroix did that. Ouch. You know? So you can start with anything, but the first 7 seconds, 10 seconds, you need to get them on your side. And that is the biggest challenge of a strong opening, not just to get into a speech and do some opening, to get into your side, and within 30 seconds, let's have a journey. So every speech is a journey where you're not supposed to lose your message. You're supposed to build your message. You introduce the context of your message in the beginning and you build towards it. And of course, you make it personal. Why? Because rest everything, it's obvious, right? Okay. Stage play, amazing stage play. When he talks to his mom, he moves left and right not in a very awkward way, but in a very casual way. And this one, if you look at it, he's not using the gestures like previous contestants have done that, using left, using right, using left, using right. He walks and talks. Conversational style and dialogue move, we call it. And of course, he brings back the message and he builds it up. And most importantly, in this case is that when you talk about any speech which is cultural, suit up will not be relevant in terms of appearance. Though it's just 10 points or less than that when he score for appearance. But in this part, it becomes more relevant wearing what he was wearing. And because he's going to talk and bring you to his cultural things, something is mentioned in his language. So yes, now what I think, could he have worn an very Zimbabwean clothes? Maybe. Could he have worn very Zimbabwean clothes? Maybe. But would that be something click in the mind easily? What is more easy for you to shadow in? Something we call in NLP, there's something you shadow into a person who's already done great. And him wearing that shadows Aaron Beverly. And is good that. Good play of words, not a lot, I would say that, few times, but very good player. Now, the most important part with every judge and every contestant audience do ask, towards the end, what do you remember in his speech? And if you could conclude this entire core message in one sentence, can you say that? And I can say that, this is me. I'm different and I'm special. That's it. That's it. And if you can say that about any speech, that yes. And next time I look into the mirror, because he gave an example, I'm like, yes, this is me. And I different. And so now my name, my look, my height, everything is fine, because I've learned to accept who I am because of this speech. And that's what I love about this speech. And if you can say that to any speech, that yes, I took back something. Now, it was a very simple message, but the way it connected from different to special to acceptance, that makes it stronger. It's how you share the perspective of it. Okay, now Jackson have to say answer. Okay. Did you think you won because message was simple and they're powerful? Other finalists were good too. Yes, other finalists were very good too, but I felt that Cyril, when I was watching, and I was watching, I think I was watching about 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Malaysian timing. And moment he finished his speech and all, I'm like, clear winner. Clear winner. Why? He developed his speech. No exaggeration, no, how do you call it? No over dramatic stuff and all, or no something like, yeah, I have to make it. It came out so natural, so raw, so authentic. Why natural, authentic, raw matters? Because of his message. Because of his message, which is authentic, is be different, be special, yes, and accept who you are. That being the authentic makes it. And self-deprecating jokes in this matter, in a very soft way, is that, okay, Malcolm, a lot of questions, Malcolm. When he asked audience to repeat words, he always, yes, you are right, Malcolm, that is good. Yes, Ramana Smith did the same thing. You know, she sang the song and everybody could hum with her. That's a great. And yes, that is something you need to say, but you got to understand that it's a very high risk when you ask audience to repeat and they don't repeat. So you have to build it up to that. Build it up to that. So they will do that particular thing. All right. Yes, Kim Seong said later more questions after the break. So thank you so much. I'm supposed to end 5 minutes earlier, but I got so excited about this whole thing. So I hope it was worthy. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you, Jackson.
People, I think let's give him unmute ourselves. I think don't do that. That one to me always I find very funny, even though it's a custom. But let's unmute yourself and let him hear real applause. I want to apologize. I made it through the rain home to set up this on a home Wi-Fi. So I went to take my lunch and I don't know what's going to happen next. After this break, are we going for a break, right? As I recall, huh? Then the Q&A after the break. Am I right?
Now it's my turn.
Oh, Kim Seong's turn. Okay, this is the moment I'm waiting for. I've known Kim Seong for quite a while. We always say this man needs no introduction, right? It's a tautology. And then we go on to say lots of things about him. But one thing I want to say is Kim Seong is a very simple. He does love what he do, and he is going to tell us the way it is. Over to you, Kim Seong.
Thank you, Jackson. To our immediate past District Director from District 102, Srinivas, and past District Director, Mingzi. And today in this audience, right, we also have, I would like to acknowledge the presence of District 51 champion, Sim Boksan, the man who coached Mas Mahathir. Boksan, I hope you can turn on your camera so everybody can have a look at you.
Kim Seong, he's also 102 champion.
Oh, you're so 102 champion.
Yeah, because I lost to Sim Boksan in Division C
Boksan.
finals.
Welcome. And Boksan is a very successful speech coach. And
Yes.
in this part of region, in fact, we should tap on each other's resources and make our contestants strong and powerful to compete in the international level. And this afternoon, when Jackson invited me, I told him I'd like to make some disclaimer first. Okay, whatever I'm going to share with you this afternoon is my own personal opinion, my own personal observation, and my own personal view. It is not Toastmasters official point of view, and hopefully all these observations will come through this day. And before we proceed further, right, I hope that you can turn on the camera, right, if you can. And it is better to interact with you and to learn from you. And I would like to find out what do you expect from this session. Maybe I'd like to hear from John. John from District 102. John, Division G Director, what do you expect from this session?
Knowledge, because I know what you're like, Kim Seong. So I know you've got a lot of knowledge, which I like to tap into. So when we've sat down and had a cup of coffee together, I like to listen to you and learn all about that knowledge you've amassed since you've become a Toastmaster.
Okay.
So I'm here for you and for me to learn from you as much knowledge as possible.
Okay, thank you, John. How about Jenny? Jenny came in very early just now. Jenny, how about you, Jenny? Jenny from ITMA, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, of course, to learn. I think we have good leaders here to share, very experienced, that's for all of us. Lifelong journey of learning.
Okay,
Yeah,
I also see Watana Chong, Division D Director. This year, in fact, Division D is one of the division with the whole committee, right, organizing wonderful workshop, bringing, and in fact, I did the count. From the month of July till now, right, they have lined up at least 12 workshops. Okay, Watana Chong, why are you here? In fact, last night they had just have a Mark Brown sessions. Watana, if you can unmute yourself and show us, that would be better. Okay, why are you here, Watana?
Well, I missed the whole contest altogether, and I just thought that behind the scene comments, I would have learned a lot more. So I didn't. I just want to grab the opportunity to learn from the experts.
Thank you, Watana.
Thank you.
Okay, personally, the whole contest, I have 7 observations. The first observations, right, is the hybrid contest is here to
Stay.
to stay. Okay, someone to stay. How about Fatima? The hybrid contest is here too.
Actually, I think it was 2 days ago, I listened to Andre speak himself, and he shared his observations during his contest. And he said he didn't see the audience because I think they had some technical glitches, so TI wasn't able to display. So from his point of view, I think there were lots of challenges, but he said it was all due up to himself. So he gave the best he could in his speech. That's what I thought. Yeah, so I think we had discussions around hybrid, whether physical or, when we are online, how we can impress the judges, how can we deliver our best. And that's something I'm eager to hear from you as well.
Okay, let's hear from Mingzi. Mingzi, what do you think? Hybrid contest is here too?
Is inevitable. It will be continue because we love physical, but we have to admit there are some who are unable, sometimes not by choice. They can't get out from wherever they are to quarantine or other reason. So we have to admit this is not only here, it's inevitable and perhaps perpetual. Okay,
that's an excellent observation. It is quite similar as 3 years ago when Toastmasters International launched Pathway program, and we have this struggle. Oh, I like the traditional program, and clearly, our CEO Daniel Rex told you straight in your face, Pathway is here to stay. And hybrid contest, I can assure you, hybrid contest is here to stay. And that, like just now what Fatima mentions, right? Okay, there is also challenges. Challenges whether you are going to compete on site or you are compete online. If you calculate the percentage of the semi-finalists who compete in semi-final online, there's 6 online contestants. Out of 6 online contestants, 4 make it into the final, which worked out to be about 66.7%. There is 22 completed semi-final on site. Okay, only 4 make it into final. The percentage is 18.18%. So what is the pros and cons? Okay, the pros and cons, right, for on-site, right, you are able to get the audience respond immediately. When you do your speech, you're able to connect with the audience. You can have an instant view of the response directly from the audience. Okay, and there is always best when you have live audience. It is quite similar. If right now, if I off my screen and I talk to you without seeing my facial expression, without seeing what I'm trying to tell you, the feeling is a bit different. So for the on-site contestant, you have the opportunity to connect with the audience directly. As for online contestant, a few things you can control. Number 1, you can control the lightings. Number 2, you can control your sound system. And number 3, you can control your stage movement, and how are you going to play with the camera. So it calls for another level of mastery. So as a very, very competent speaker, I will strongly encourage you master both. If you know that hybrid is here to stay, and physical connections, right? Because you can't remove physical one-to-one connection from when you speak to the audience. So all these skills you have to learn. So my first observation is hybrid contest is here to stay. The second observation, where what just now Sui mentioned, you must be real and authentic. And all the contestants, when they compete at that level, the message must come to audience when we are at the receiving end. You must think that we believe in the speakers on what they are saying, what they believe, and what they really value. And at this moment, right, I would like to share you some pictures. What is the first word come in your mind when you see this picture? I invite you to key into the chat group. Winner, okay, winner, make it, champion, breakthrough. Okay, some more. Strength, finish, happy. Okay, let's look at the second picture. Okay, on the second picture, what is the first word coming to your mind? Okay, Thomas Hero, emo, sad, sleepy, sad, bored. Okay, any depression, okay. In fact, the second picture, most of them get the quite similar message. Okay, what is the second observation? Which means that whatever message you want to communicate through your audience, clarity is power. If you watch the World Championship final, the first speaker, Nisha from Qatar, her speech is Timber Will Come. So she starts off her speech with a Lion King song. Okay, and subsequently he narrates her story about the child on wanting to see a tiger. So as an audience, when you have this distorted message from Lion King to a tiger, how are you going to make the join? So whenever as a speaker, the message you want to come across, you must have this thing called clarity. Your message must be very, very crystal clear to your audience. So that is the observation. The fourth observation. We got 8 contestants. In fact, last week I attended this session by Division D, organized by Watana Division, and this world champion 1997, Willie June. He said, "Oh, we have this watch party." In fact, his choice of the champion is this guy from District 85, Fuzi. Okay, that is his choice. So what is the learning lesson from here? The learning lesson is, number one, is we got 8 contestants. If all the panel of judges change, the result may not be the same. Why? Because audience judges, we come from different background, different value, different perspective. And the most important thing is when we listen to the speech, how are we able to make this little connection is in the speaker's speech, we can see our image appear in their story. And if you really observe 8 speakers in the final, they talk about dream, they talk about overcome the fear, they talk about understanding appreciation. So all this message, like our winning champion, this is me. So different speaker, when they present the message as audience on our receiving end. Why are we able to identify the message? Because we are able to make the necessary connection through our value, our perspective, and our own encounter. So we can see our story, our own story appear in their speech. So the key lesson from this number 4 observation is everybody have their own choice and versus your choice. So if you change the panel of judges, the result may not be the same. So one important conclusion I would like to draw from here is all the speaker make it in the final or even semi-final, they are champion in their own right. They are trying very hard to have their own speech, to inspire, to touch the heart of the audience. The 5th observation is we always need to understand the audience and judge mental model. Every speakers, every finalist, when they went on stage, they always have this belief their speech is the best they can give. But you have to ask yourself whether your receiving end, the one who received the message, are able to accept the message. For example, if today we are talking about something very out of the box, and only you yourself are so passionate on the topic, and half of or 80% of the audience don't know what you are talking about, okay, and you cannot make it into the next level. So these are something where we always spend some time to understand the audience or the judges' mental model. Where, in fact, the audience and judges is just like you and me, ordinary members joining Toastmasters. And sometimes we always have this interesting mindset. The judges maybe have superhero, superpower, are able to, like just now what Richard mentions, right? Whether the judges have the technical skills to analyze the speech like what Sri did just now. Mind you, you only have 5 to 7 minutes and you pay attention. Because for Sri, because he watched this speech, right, over and over again, and he analyzed part by part. Just make yourself into this situation where you are watching the thing live in action. You cannot say, oh, speaker, pause first, let me rewind and analyze your speech. You can't. So we always need to understand this mental model. So Sri, am I right to say that you watched many times on the speech? Can you confirm it?
Of course.
Okay.
It's definitely not one time and say, yeah, I got it. No way. No
Okay,
way.
thank you, Sri. Okay, the sixth observation, and I'm quite lucky I met our District 80 champion, Adeline, and she shared with me this thing. And I also concur with her. In that level of contest, it's teamwork. It's really a team sports. Like in District 51, Mas Mahathir, he had Boksan to mentor him. He got his girlfriend to take care of all the necessary food items, and he paid attention in competing. And what Adeline shared with me is the whole process, right, need a few pillars. Number one is the mentor. In different level of contest, you need to have different level of mentor to mentor you along the way, because different level of mentor will see it in different perspective, different view. So sometimes you need to get the right mentor to mentor you. I believe that in the past, right, we have contestants, right, make it into the semi-final or quarter-final, or in the past it's called inter-district contest. The contestant just get their backpack, pack the clothing, and go for the contest alone. And the more we attend in that level of contest, we realize that it's not a one-man show. You really need to have the team support. So in this case, right, you have mentor. The second case is you need to have Like for example, you want to have scheduled practices, you need to have someone, right, to help you to do the logistic, to book. Because sometimes you may have double book or triple book. That is no good. So all this logistic work, right, get someone to handle. You just focus on your speech. And third area, right, is this thing called emotion support. In any level of support, like I'm very happy when I always see John and Fatima, right, they have the spouse support throughout the Toastmaster journey. So the emotion support is very, very crucial. And the last thing, in fact, I personally observe is you also need to really understand the mindset of your audience. Because the reason just now I show you different pictures, right? If all of your audience from the same pictures or the same speech you give have multiple messages they are receiving, then your speech is not effective. Because you may think that my speech is talking about overcome hardship. But my audience, right, Jackson may say, oh, happiness. Srinivas, right, may tell me, oh, overcome. Fatima can tell me, oh, don't give up. So the message, as a speaker, right, when I'm going to give my speech, in the receiving end must be consistent. As long as 80% receive the same message, you cannot expect 100% get the same message. As long as majority receive the same message. So in this thing is a team sport. The next observation is in any speech, if you listen carefully, right, all the 8 final speech, they always have this thing called call for action. What, after you listen to for 5 to 7 minutes, what actually the speakers want you to take action? And the most crucial part is, as a contestant, as a finalist, you must understand the important why. Because from club level, area, division, district, quarterfinal, semi-final, final, it's a whole long 8-month process. And sometimes we come across contestants after 1 round, 2 rounds, they say tough, they give up. But you will see many contestants that keep coming back, keep competing, keep refining themselves. Because the why is so crucial. If you hear Mas Mahathir or Adeline, their why is very, very strong. Mas Mahathir want to be the first Malaysian to win the championship. Adeline mentioned to me, because in TMCS, she's from 2 clubs, TMCS and KNU Toastmaster Club. And TMCS happened to produce a world champion called Manoj. And in the whole world at this moment, there is no same club produce 2 world champions. One of the motivation she have is she want to be the first female and from the same club produce 2 world champions. So I strongly encourage you, if you are a contestant, always understand the big why. So once you understand the big why, no matter how hard, how many obstacles you come across, you're able to overcome one by one. Okay, right now I'd like to invite you to watch this small clip, short clip, and understand a few learning lessons from here.
Why do people make donations?
We're going to find out from the donors themselves.
Where do I look? Look at you or look at them?
Good afternoon.
Hi. So you're going to interview me? Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Sanjeev. I'm 12 years old this year.
Hi, my name is Yvonne. I am 9 years old this year.
My name is Alisha. I'm 11 years old this year.
Hi, my name is Siti. I am 9 years old.
I'm going to ask you some questions today. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Why do you make a donation?
Well, when I was your age, I actually received bursary awards. So every year, I had a sum of money that was given to me by this association where I used the money for school fees and school expenses. And I thought that, now that I'm in a privileged and blessed position, it's time to give back to society.
When I was growing up, in fact, our family actually lived in a one-room flat, with my two other sisters and my parents. And, I have to say that we were very fortunate. We benefit from, many support and gifts of the society.
We are not giving up. We are actually giving back what we take from the society. And now it's time for us to sharing and giving back to the society again.
Everyone has extras in life, right? So hence it's not just me. I don't want to just keep it to my own to do good deeds. I really get all my friends, whether it's within my company, within the friends that I'm close to, or even beyond, donate as much as possible.
My union make a donation because we know that our donation helps many people who are in need for our members and workers.
I would like to share a story with you about myself. I am the youngest in my family. My mother is a preschool infant teacher. She is the only one working because my father is sick.
I have two brothers. My elder brother is 17 years old and my younger brother is 2 years old. My elder brother is a special need kid. My mother works as a cashier and she works 6 days in a week. She's the only one working to take care of us because my dad passed away in 2019.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
I have one brother and 6 sisters. We are a family of 10. My mom worked as a part-time nurse. She used to be sick, but I think she is now okay. Although my house is very small, I treasure staying together with all my siblings.
My dream is to become a businessman one day because businessman makes a lot of money and then we can live a happy life. And then when I grow older, when I have kids or if I have a family, they will also feel happier because they don't have to go through how I went through when I was a little boy.
My dream is to become a scientist because I like astronomy.
My dream is to be a nurse, just like my mother, because I want to be in the front line, helping people in need.
My family have received the NTUC Care Fund e-vouchers and capture funds.
Education, bursary and scholarship. We used to go to Wild Wild Wet before my father was sick.
I used the funders to buy a new shoes. Because of your donation, it helps lighten up my family's burden. We will use the fund to buy assessment books for my studies.
I use the funds to buy a new stationeries. I want to thank you for your kind donations. I made a card for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for your card.
I want to thank you for your kind donation. I made a card for you.
Oh, wow. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to keep this.
Thank you.
Well done. Keep your dream. Fly high.
Thank you.
I don't know how to describe my what I feel now.
No, I didn't expect to be interviewed by someone so young. But I'm proud that I get to see in person who's the beneficiary of our donations. Mostly I feel touched and grateful because I'm able to help someone like her.
No, I think I'm very touched with his aspiration, to know that the donation that we make through You Care Fund has indeed made an impact, to him and also to his family. And very importantly, I think it's to support, the aspiration and the dream, of a very young man over here who has a very, very bright future.
And as long as you live a life that, of gratitude, you'll go a long, long way.
I'm very touched to hear your story. Be assured, just take care of your education. Your parents and the government and NTUC will ensure that you have all the necessary financial support.
Every dollar counts and every dollar makes a difference to the lives, of many of them. And please support You Care Fund generously.
For every contribution, for every donation, it brings lights to families.
Do people
Okay, I'd like to invite Boksan. Boksan, what do you learn from this video? If you can turn on your video and share your observations.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I think this video touched me many levels of emotions. I felt from both the giver and the recipient. I'm sorry. It's very meaningful to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Boksan. How about Ravinjan?
Thank you, Po Siong, Po Kim Siong. Yes, of course, the video is very touching. We can relate to the message. I guess many, if not most of us here, come from that kind of simple background. So we can see it connecting with us. It's a simple message, but a message of caring. And the best part I like is it's delivered in very simple language, nothing complicated, simple vocabulary. So the message can reach out to whoever it's supposed to reach out to. Thank you, and back to you, sir.
Thank you, Ravinjan. The reason why I share with you this story, this one relate to our speech contest. Just a few points I cover. It must be real, it must be authentic, and the message must be crystal clear. And in the whole video, right, what they're trying to do is to appeal donor to donate, and also let the donor see from different perspective, from the story point of view, on the receiving end, how they use the funds they receive. Okay, and through the story of the three children, you realize that there is this thing called emotion connection. And in selling, they always mention logic open the mind, emotion open the heart. And these are something right, lead to the very important point is to show gratitude in what we are doing. Everything we do, like for example, I feel very touched when I see Manoj won the world championship, right? First thing first, right, he met his mentor, Kim. When Mas Mata won the third position, right, he thanked his mentor, Boksan. And these are the things where make this world a better place for you and for me. And one of the bonus point I would like to share with you is to be an effective storyteller. Whatever skill we learn, right, in voice, if you are weak in voice, go and get a coach to coach you on voice, gesture. And one of the important lessons, right, recently I learned from the 1997 world champion, right, they said to determine a good speech, what you need to do is, if you turn on the image of the speakers, of the finalists, and listen just on the audio, are you able to get the same message? So these are something as a communicator, as a leader, we must be able to be an effective storyteller to bring the message across. And the last tips I want to highlight to you is to be a so-called official in that level, right? They also use a similar form. They didn't use any other form. And just now Sri did mention what the judging form they're using is also the same. Okay, they judge on your content, they judge on your delivery, and they also focus on the language. And in fact, I did have a discussion with Sri, right? In semi-final, in final, the last two items on delivery and language, the difference is a very, very small percentage, 1 or 2 point difference, because they make it to level. The only significant what pull apart a contestant or finalist, right, is the speech values, where on the receiving end. So these are some skills, and there's many story around us to uncover. And you have wonderful story, and never let your story stay in your heart. If you have story, you can inspire, influence, and impact others. Make sure you package it, craft it nicely, and share. And with that, okay, 88 service warranty still stay for Kampong Ubi, and I hand the control back to Jackson. Over to you, Jackson.
Thank you very much. People, let us give him again a real applause.